not hogging all the medals for yourself.
Have you ever worn an Olympic medal around your neck, ever once? Heavy? No, I never have. Is it heavy, not heavy?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of heavy.
Pleasant? Is it a good feeling?
It's transformational. You want to guess whose ribbon I wore, whose medal I wore?
Who?
Local athlete.
Who?
Dominique Dawes.
Dominique Dawes?
Yes.
Did it look good on you? Because it looks good on her.
Looks great on Dominique.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Drake Maye struggles, Lindsey Vonn crashes, and North Carolina beats Duke in the final second. But we begin today with last night's Super Bowl, a dull affair, where Seattle's defense dominated New England's offense. The final score was 29-13, but the Patriots did not score a point until the fourth quarter. They punted 8 times, and at the end of 3 quarters, had only 78 yards of offense. Wilbon, we both had Seattle winning. How would you describe what you saw?
Did you just say dull affair?
Yeah, I did. Was it?
Ibid, copy. Yes.
Okay.
It was. But you know what, Tony? I didn't mind that as much. And I know some people, they get all jacked up to watch the Super Bowl, and they got, all kinds of feasts and Thanksgiving part 2 and all that. I want to see a great performance. And we saw one, to me. The Seahawks beat the hell out the New England Patriots. And going back to October, I had Seattle as my number 1 seed.
I had the Rams.
You had the Rams, and we were both.
That's right.
We were in the game because that's what it boiled down to. And the way, we'll get to Drake Maye specifically, but that defense brought it. They were better everywhere. They were better offensively. Yeah. I mean, the MVP is the best weapon in the game yesterday. They didn't have to ask Darnold to do too much because the defense did everything. Yeah. So this was a beatdown from the start, and I just give all the credit to Seattle, and I wasn't disappointed even though it was a dull affair.
So what I would describe what I saw would be non-competitive. At little bit, maybe a minute into the fourth quarter, when a touchdown was finally scored and Seattle went up 16-0, I wrote you these exact words on the text, these exact words, game over, good night.
Yeah.
And you texted back, it ain't over, you're familiar with the work of Mr. Sam Darnold. I did not waver, I went to bed. Yeah. Sam Darnold was okay. He was not any better than okay. But he did not turn the ball over, and he did not lose the game. And the defense was suffocating. The defense was great. A small little statistic here. In the last 3 games, Seattle has beaten the 49ers, the Rams, and the Patriots, who among them had 44 wins going into those games. That's a lot of wins.
Yeah.
And to me, this coach at Seattle, this kid who's 38 years old, it's about time he gets the kind of praise that we always give to young offensive assistants.
It's not going to happen.
Well,
because he's a young defensive assistant.
Well, it should happen.
Young defensive assistants, unless they are either unbelievably loud or cocky or obnoxious or something, they don't get the attention that the offensive assistants get.
38 years old. Listen, I feel bad in this regard. It was a great NFL season, competitive, more so than we've seen in many years. Yeah. It was a great playoff, and it ends with a thud. And I know you like this, it ends with old-fashioned football.
Defense.
It ends with and running.
Yes,
defense and running, which I know that you like.
Great punting.
And by the way, this team, the Seattle team, in 3 playoff games was only behind 1 minute and 35 seconds. But the bandwagon team were not behind at all. Not behind
they
at
were
all
not at all.
in the playoffs.
Nobody knows what that means except me.
1991.
By the way, you love great teams,
I do.
And yet you're not singing the praise of Seattle.
I will tell you why, very simply. I mean, they don't have an identifiable name or face or star yet. They do not. They do not.
You got time.
Yeah,
I'll be around next year, too. Let's stay with the Super Bowl, but drill down, as promised, on Patriots quarterback Drake Maye. The man who finished a close second in the regular season MVP voting looked ordinary, if not overwhelmed, last night. He was sacked 6 times, had 3 turnovers. Tone, what did you make of Maye's Super Bowl?
I thought he had a bad game. As you're saying, sacked 6 times and 3 turnovers. Let me get this stat. Going into the fourth quarter, he had passed for only 60 yards. He's 23 years old, and it looked like the stage was a little bit too big for him. I think that's fair to say. Now, it's not all his fault. The left side of his offensive line caved in. Seattle just overwhelmed them. There were times, I think just in the video, you could see that. His offensive linemen were being pushed into him.
Yeah.
Now, you want to say, well, get rid of the ball quicker. Well, he didn't really have a lot of time. Now, yes, He missed some open receivers. And yes, he had a bad game. But, Mike, he's been sacked 20 times in 4 playoff games. That is indicative that the offensive line isn't doing its job fully in those things. Get to the notes. Seattle defense was terrific. In the last 3 games, they've beaten the number 1, number 2, and number 10 scoring teams in all of football. They played the Rams 3 times. The Rams are really good. They gave up an average of 28 points to them. In all their other games, they gave up an average of only 14 points. They were all over Maye, which is why Maye said, and I give him all the credit in the world for this particular quote, if you don't make plays, you end up crying at the podium.
That was a great line. Truer words have never been spoken. Are you familiar with, of course you're familiar with, you might have covered this game, a Mr. Tony Eason?
Yeah, that was a brutal start. A brutal start.
Yes, and a brutal result.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and nobody wants to accept this anymore because people don't want to see defense. The league doesn't want to see it, which is why they legislated out. The stupid sponsors who put on all those dumb commercials last night,
some of which
they don't
were
want to
actually
see
great,
it.
but that's
they don't want to see it. They want to see offense. Everybody, what did we just say about the offensive assistant coaches? They're all praised to the heavens.
That's right.
Nobody.
That's right.
The Seattle defense beat the hell out of Tony Eason. Drake Maye.
Drake Maye.
They beat him to death.
Yeah.
He had no time to. People say he can get rid of the ball quicker. No, he can't. Because by the time he took a second step and planted, someone was in his grill.
Well, one of his offensive linemen was backing up into him. Look, we're not going to make any comparisons to Tom Brady after this game, right?
No,
because it wasn't
and
that
it's not
kind
the
of game.
kid's fault.
But he's a kid, and maybe he gets back, though Marino did not get back.
No, he didn't.
Drake Maye had a great season and a bad ending. What else are you supposed to say? He got beaten.
He did. And Friday, we both sat here knowing this was a possible outcome. Yeah. Looking at that Seattle defense, looking at the struggles that New England had in the playoffs and against some of the better teams they played, and that's exactly how it played
New
out.
England's road to the Super Bowl, the last game they played was not even against the starting quarterback.
Yeah,
so Seattle's road was in the tougher conference with the toughest division.
It was.
And they kept playing those teams over and over.
I still think Drake Maye's future is bright.
It should be bright.
It should be.
It should be bright.
Yeah.
Let's move to the Olympics and the spectacular and heartbreaking crash of 41-year-old Lindsey Vonn just 14 seconds into her run in the downhill yesterday morning. Vonn was screaming in pain. She was airlifted off the mountain and into surgery where she reportedly had a broken leg. American skier Breezy Johnson won the event. Wilbon, let us start with Vonn. You saw her as courageous and heroic when she announced she would race despite a torn ACL. What are your thoughts on how the story ended?
She was courageous and heroic. And I found out about the ending. I was doing something else, getting a car wash, actually.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll get back home. And I got streaming. I can always start at the beginning. That's an option.
Right.
And then I start getting texts about what exactly happened. And I said, you know what? Not only am I not going to start at the beginning, I'm not starting at all. I don't want to see this.
You don't see it.
It doesn't make her less courageous. It doesn't matter. In fact, it makes her more. She knew this was a possibility of having to sustain this kind of pain, physical and emotional. I'm not going to use the word tragic, but it was devastating. And I'm not. I told you. I called you yesterday, and I said I am not watching.
Yeah, I know.
This.
I found that hard to believe, but I accept it.
You wanted to see Lindsey Vonn go out like this?
I felt I had to. I knew I was going to talk about it, and I had to. Look, I'm going to play newspaper man here for a second, okay? Breezy Johnson won this event.
Yeah.
She's only the second American woman of all time to win the downhill. Lindsey Vonn won it 16 years ago, I believe. So this is a huge deal. But if I'm writing the headline to this story, the first deck of the headline says Vonn crashes. The second deck says Breezy Johnson wins. Because Vonn's crash is, in fact, it's the bigger story.
We talked about the star that Seattle doesn't have. Lindsey Vonn's a big star. As a matter of fact, she's the biggest American star in the Olympics, right? She's our biggest star.
She was going into it. I mean, it's 2 weeks ago. I felt the need to watch this. I waited for the replay. I sat around and waited for it, and I watched it. And even though I knew what had happened, I was unprepared for what that was like.
Yes.
I was unprepared for what that was like. Look, she is very courageous and heroic to try this. I feel that she did it, Mike, because she's 41 years old. She had been retired, and she said, if I lay out of this one, I can't come back at 45.
That's
so I
part of
gotta
why
go
I
now.
admire her.
I gotta go now. Now, is she crazy? Are they? Oh, they're all crazy.
Yes, they're daredevils.
Downhillers are all loons.
Don't you wish
Comes
in
with
a
the
way
territory.
That somebody close to her. Now, her dad said later,
I know you
this is
said
over.
that.
She's not doing this. I bet she told her that 2 days ago too. Don't you wish somebody had said to her, Lindsay, don't do this?
They're going 80 miles an hour. When a crash happens, it's going to be bad. Yeah, let me review this. You didn't want to see the replay, and you told me you thought that somebody should have gotten to her.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Mike, what is the story you tell most? What's the story you tell most? Let's look this up, because I wrote it down.
What?
Ronnie Lott. Yep. What did he do? Got his finger cut off. And you always brag about that. You always say, that's what he did to win. So this is what she did to win.
I was young.
And you didn't watch.
I was young and stupid then.
Well, now you're old and
of
stupid.
hair.
That's the way it works. Let's take a break. When we come back, our reactions to Seth Trimble's shot that lifted North Carolina over Duke.
And after Chris Gotterup's win Sunday, do we have to start seeing him as a serious challenger to Scotty? Okay,
Ronnie Lott, heroic.
You thought Lott was crazy.
He was.
I spent the rest of the weekend, if I wasn't watching golf or the Super Bowl, watching a lot of college basketball. I watched BYU. I'm confused on nights. I think it was also Saturday night. I'm going to watch Arizona tonight. Now I'm into it now. And this shot was a scream out loud moment. I was at a place at a bar, at a club, at Columbia.
Okay.
And the kid who made that pass, and the previous shot is from Washington, D.C., Derek Dixon. It was a thrilling moment, right?
Is he a Gonzaga kid?
Yes, he is.
Do you know his father? Like, all the fathers of all the Gonzaga kids?
Yeah, a little bit, but Yeah. But here's the thing, Tony. That shot, we've seen that go the other way. We saw Austin Rivers do that, what was that, 10 years ago? More than 10 years ago?
More than 10.
But for that rivalry to go that way and end that way is wow.
Okay. It was a great ending. It was a perfect pass across court. It was a perfect shot. It's the only time Carolina led. It's everything you could ask for in a game.
14 years ago,
Here's my butt. Here's my
Austin
butt.
Rivers.
Okay? The court storming, this is a bad thing.
I agree.
John Shire should not have to worry about the safety of his staff, his players, and his family. And another thing, what is North Carolina doing storming the court? They've won 6 NCAA championships.
And this is the hated
because
rival.
They beat Duke.
You don't storm Duke.
They've beaten Duke hundreds of times.
So what should
they
you do?
knocked Mike Krzyzewski into retirement.
Should the fine be 3 times? I think it was $50,000 in the ACC. Should the fine go to 150?
No, there has to be a rule as to when you can, if it's essential to the college experience, and I'm willing to grant that.
Yeah.
There has to be a time rule where you have to wait 2 minutes or 5 minutes because the court is still going to be there, or else you forfeit.
They had to get the kids off the court to go back for the final 4/10 of a second.
I understand that, but we shouldn't have that.
No.
Shouldn't have. I mean, don't gin up the rivalry to where it gets crazy.
I'm hoping there's no video of me storming the court for Northwestern Purdue.
What, the one game that they won that year?
We beat Purdue twice.
Whoa, with Zach Edey?
One ranked each time.
Wow, good for you.
And made the tournament.
Good for you.
So what did Binghamton do?
Not as well.
Okay.
Not as well as that.
Do we need to start taking this Chris Gotterup kid seriously as a guy who could challenge Scotty Scheffler's recent dominance of the PGA Tour?
Okay. I may have watched every stroke of this tournament for at least 3 days.
I did too.
I was going back and forth.
Loved it.
During the playoff. I'm going back and forth with the Super Bowl.
The beginning of the Super Bowl.
Hideki Matsuyama is a great player. He could not find the fairway off the tee.
Twice.
Only twice all day. And then at the tee shot on 18 in regulation and the tee shot on 18 in the overtime, he had terrible shots. So I felt bad for him in that regard. Gotterup is very good. He is now ranked 5th in the world. As my son says, ball speed doesn't lie. He hits at 185 miles an hour.
He was winning 5 times.
He hits at 315 in the air, right? But if you're asking me about Scotty Scheffler, come on now. Scotty Scheffler in this tournament was 2 over on the first day, and the last 3 days was 17 under.
Yeah.
Gotterup was 8 under on the last 3 days. My feeling is,
isn't it
PGA
possible
Tour wins
he's
recently.
in the rearview mirror? Things are larger than they appear.
Yeah, right.
Closer than they
Gotterup
appear.
has 4. McIlroy has 5. Scotty Scheffler has 14. So slow down, Sparky.
I would just say this. I'm not willing to use the name Tiger Woods in relationship to Scottie Scheffler. And so some people do that, and I just go, shh, because Scottie Scheffler has not changed the history of golf.
Oh, and he
Tiger
never will
Woods,
change the history of golf.
If he stays on this, right?
Tiger Woods there were cultural implications as well.
That too. That too.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, Gara, you and I started asking each other a year ago, who the hell is this kid? He went to Rutgers.
Yeah, and
he
then
was
he took an extra year and went to Oklahoma as Player of the Year. Here's who's changed golf in that dramatic a fashion. Arnold Palmer popularized golf, and Tiger Woods is something that we had never seen. I'm not including anyone else.
No, you're not. But people speak this way, and I just want to smack them. Don't ever do that with Scottie Scheffler. Not yet. Not for about 3 more years.
And not yet with Goddard vis-a-vis Scottie Scheffler. That's enough email. Let's take one last break. Still to come. Your boy Damian Lillard returns to the NBA in a curious capacity.
Yeah, kind of. Could #1 Arizona, I asked you about this, get his first loss of the season tonight?
So now you're watching.
Yes.
You're into college
basketball. I'm into it.
Team All-Pro this past season after 64 solo tackles and 16 deflected passes. DeJean was drafted by the Eagles in the 2nd round out of Iowa in 2024 and had just 1 interception as a rookie. But what an interception it was. DeJean picked off Patrick Mahomes in the 2nd quarter of the Super Bowl and ran it back 38 yards for a touchdown and 6 of the Eagles' 40 points in their 40-22 win.
Man.
That game was played on DeJean's 22nd birthday, making him the first player since fellow Eagle Steve Van Buren to score a touchdown in a championship game on his birthday. Granted, a limited opportunity pool.
Shows you also how times have changed. Steve Van Buren's birthday was on December 28th.
That's when the season ended.
The NFL now wants to just preoccupy you until Memorial Day. And by the way, Van Buren, did you know he led in all the rushing categories that mattered when he retired in the early 50s?
I wasn't aware of that, but he was a great star with the Eagles.
He was a great star
about that. Happy anniversary, Billy Tubbs. This is posthumous, but on this day 37 years ago, while coaching Oklahoma, Tubbs grabbed a courtside microphone at the Lloyd Noble Center to address outraged Sooners fans who were seeing their team losing to Big 8 rival Missouri. Attempting to calm the storm, Tubbs stated, quote, "The referee requests that regardless of how terrible the officiating is, do not throw stuff on the floor," unquote. Crowd erupted.
So good.
Tubbs was teed up. OU rallied to beat Mizzou 112-105. Tubbs was a basketball lifer, compiling a 641 and 300 coaching record. He won over 100 games at 3 different schools: Oklahoma, TCU, and his alma mater, Lamar, whose court is named the Billy and Pat Tubbs Court in honor of the coach and his wife.
You've been to Norman, Oklahoma, right?
I have.
You know how big and how omnipresent the university is?
Yes.
When they put the Thunder there, when they expand, they put the Thunder NBA, I just thought they'd be a footnote. They could never, measure up to the university. Wrong.
Well,
oh my God!
I think
the
if
people in the state love
put them
the
in
Thunder.
As a football team, that would have happened, but that was a basketball.
Okay, maybe so.
An official happy trails to the Seahawks for offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. After winning the Super Bowl, Kubiak confirmed last week's reports that he's the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, saying, quote, "Hell yeah, I'm going. I'm fired up about it," unquote. Seattle's offense ranked 3rd in points scored and 8th in yards under Kubiak in his first season with the team. The 38-year-old is the son of former NFL quarterback Gary Kubiak, who won a Super Bowl as Broncos head coach in 2015. And his first challenge may be mending fences with Max Crosby. Our friend Jason La Canfora reports that the star pass rusher's reps have been telling teams that Crosby will never play for the Raiders again.
So back to Kubiak for a second. The dad. You know who he backed up a few times going to Super Bowl games, although a loser?
I'm going to guess it's John Elway.
John Elway, 3 times. How about that?
Yeah.
John Elway in the ring.
John Elway went to 5. Won the
and
last
people
2.
don't even acknowledge John Elway.
Sure
they talk about these dopes, and they don't acknowledge John Elway.
One update, Lindsey Vonn said in a statement just now that her ACL injury had nothing to do with her crash and that she sustained a complex tibia fracture, which is stable but will require surgeries to fix. She's still heroic. It was a great try. Didn't you think?
She is heroic.
Yeah.
I'm just not watching it.
You're not watching it. And you wanted her not to do it.
I'm weak.
But Ronnie Lott, you said cut his finger off. Let's go to the big finish. The Thunder gets Jalen Williams back tonight against the Lakers, but Luka remains out. What's the bigger deal?
Getting J-Dubs back. Oklahoma City needs to get rolling a little bit here. Luka will be back in time.
Not going to win 80?
Blazers star Damian Lillard will participate in the 3-point contest. You like that?
I do. I mean, he's a star, and people would like to see him, and he's won this before. So put him in.
Yes.
Third-ranked South Carolina beat number 19 Tennessee by 43.
Ooh.
Tennessee coach Kim Caldwell said, quote, "I have a team that will quit on you, and you can't do that in big games," unquote. Your thoughts?
We're only a month before March Madness, and they aspire to stuff. Can they get that team back?
That's
Can she